You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It's your host, Brian Fullerton here. Excited about doing a podcast with you guys from somebody from a warm, sunshine state, none other than Paul Capote, joining us from Miami, Florida. So, Paul, good morning, brother. How are you doing today?
Good morning. Another day in paradise.
I know, right? Well, it seems so, man. I'm watching your IG stories. I'm watching you on Instagram all the time. And what's the weather like, man? Give us some hope. Give us an update. You know.
Oh man, I wish I was up to date. This guy is always like the exact temperature. Like I would say, mid-70s today. It's nice. You don't really feel the weather these last couple of days. It's gonna start getting brutal, but right now. Yeah. You don't even feel it. It's nice. It's been real windy lately.
Is that right? Okay. Some storms, or just is that how it is in the spring for Florida?
Yeah, pretty much. And it does kind of call for some storms coming in. You know, some people don't like hearing that, but in our industry, it's kind of a good thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the rain makes the grass grow. 4 days of rain is always brutal, you know, but actually, funny story, kind of relatable story is that we're actually going to be joining you guys down in Florida. My wife and I, and taking our family, we're going to Orlando for a week. So we were looking at the 10-day, and this whole week, bro, in Florida is like rain, like 70% chance of storms and rain. And I'm like, man, great thing that we're not going this week, you know, but at least on the 10-day, like the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday looked like 75s and 80s and sunny. So I'm hoping all the gnarly weather kind of kicks out, but I don't think it's uncommon for a daily rainstorm in Florida, though, from what I understand, right?
Correct. They say if you don't like the weather, wait 15 minutes.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, I like that.
He'll pass.
Yeah.
No, that's good. Glad that you're always welcome to Florida, brother. You know that.
Oh, I love Florida. I love everything you guys got going on, and Miami's no joke either, man. That's a wild area, wild town, and not to already go down the rabbit hole, man. But let's back up really quick, because a lot of guys know you, a lot of guys don't know you. You've been on a couple podcasts, but I actually missed the opportunity twice to get you on our show in Florida. A year and a half ago, I was sick when we did the Hype House, and you came over, and I was like, "Hey, dude, I just had no energy." And then this year, we actually same thing. We had to cancel the Hype House meetup.
I was there. I was ready.
Yeah, dude, it was brutal. Like, long story short, as you guys can imagine, somebody got exposed to you know what, and then we all had to play it safe. And we were gonna have a great time, but we just, optics is everything. So anyway, so I was really bummed because there's a handful of people that I wanted to link up with. But so some guys know you, some guys don't know you, but we call it the highlight reel on my show. Give us like the 1 or 2 minute who you are, where you're from, what you got going on, and what your business looks like right now, brother.
No, thank you. No, it's a pleasure having me on and giving me a moment to, express everything, what's going on. Mm-hmm. So correct. I've done a couple podcasts there, Mr. Allman and Paul. So glad to be finally on here. Glad to see the day. Yeah. So we're doing almost 13 years in landscaping now. I started high school, just mowing lawns. At first, I was just kind of in it for the money, and I started growing a passion for it, and which is kind of one of the topics I want to touch up on, having pride in the trade. But I was mowing lawns. We still mow lawns. I have a maintenance division that I have downsized compared to when I first started. I had one crew, then built up to like 3, almost 4 lawn crews.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, so it was fun. It was definitely a great part of the story. But the competition here is unreal, and the numbers weren't really adding up. So little by little, I would here and there do a design, and maybe once a month we would do a design, especially in the holiday season. So I'd get my feet wet with a little mulch job here and there, and then maybe my 8th year in business, I was like, man, I need to switch things up. So we started taking Instagram very seriously, pretty much posting everything we do, wins and losses. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So So at first it was kind of slow, and then I'd get a call here and there, but I stayed consistent with the Instagram, and I applied. I found your page actually. I found yours, and I was starting going through a rut. I think a lot of landscapers have gone through that rut, and then they pull up YouTube like, man, there has to be something that some motivation here, and I found your page, Alman Keith.
Yeah.
And it was like a wake up call, like, hey man, you're not the only one going through this.
Sure.
This is hard work, This is the trenches, as I like to say. We're in the trenches. People have regular jobs, but having a business, and even then a landscaping business, can be quite tough. And the most recent update, now we would post pandemic, we would do a few designs, and maybe they started picking up, maybe one a week. And then when the lockdown started hitting, I went hard on Instagram. I was like, I'm not gonna take a hit. I've already gone through enough. So instead of retracting, I doubled down on my marketing, and that was very crucial, because from there I had nothing but design jobs.
Wow.
So kind of transitioned the business a bit. Now I have like a dump truck. I still have the lawn equipment, still definitely doing that, some commercial properties.
Okay.
But we definitely transitioned to design and install.
Wow. Okay.
So it's been fun. It's been fun. And now I'm even a grower, but that's been even crazier. But yeah, I'm still learning that. But yeah, there's a lot to learn.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, I want to dive deep. We're going to take a quick break here. Going to hear from today's show sponsors and announcements, but I've heard a bunch of your story on the Almond Show, and I think once or twice now on Paul Jameson's show. So there's some things that I want to ask, get some follow-up, some updates, see how things are going.
Let's go.
Yeah. So and then there's other good questions I got where I'm going to maybe rack your brain a little bit, because I get a lot of coaching calls from guys in Florida, and it seems like, look, every market's got its own challenges, right? But Florida's a unique market with a lot of difficult stuff, from cheap patios sometimes to cheap mowing and prices, and maybe people not doing things legit, right? So I want to hear your thoughts, your opinions, because you're boots on the ground and you've been rocking for 13 plus seasons. You got some credibility. So let's hang tight really quick. We're going to hear from today's show announcements and show sponsors, and then we're going to come right on back, hear a little bit more from Mr. Paul Capote himself, the Miami landscaper, right after this. Hey guys, Brian here. I get asked all the time, what's the best work shoe or boots for our industry? As some of you probably know, I absolutely love wearing the Cujo Yardwear. A few years ago, I was wondering why there isn't some sort of light, functional shoe for the lawn care industry. Literally a couple weeks later, I get a message from this new company, Cujo Yardwear, letting me know about the new shoe they created for lawn care. I couldn't believe it, so I tested them out for the first year and have been wearing them ever since. Me and my guys love the Cujos because they are light, comfortable, they keep our feet dry and have a great grip, and they're breathable. Plus, they're a family-owned company. Sean and Kelsey are a brother-sister team that seriously care about offering the best products for our industry. They started with the yard shoes, came out with the X1 composite toe boots, and are launching a new slip-on shoe this year. Check them out at Cujo.com. That's Kujo.com. And don't forget to use Brian's10 to save 10%. All right, guys. Well, we're not going to waste any time. We're going to go right back to Paul. So, Paul, let me ask you this really quick, man. So you were doing a bunch of mowing, and now you got more into landscaping. What was the transition? What was the reason why? Was it what we were just talking about? Was it the pricing or route density, or you just enjoy doing landscaping more? What's the story there?
Correct. It is a little mix of all those you said. It was a combination, just all hitting me in different directions, and I'm the one paying the price. So at first, I would mow lawns an hour and a half away. Okay. And so that quickly wasn't adding up, and maybe $40, $50, and everything's more expensive here, so it doesn't really go as far. And $40, $50, I was the expensive guy. And it's like, oh man. Wow. Yeah. So time started passing, and then I kept looking at my numbers, and I'm like, I gotta get all new tools, all new stuff, and I'm charging, quote unquote market price, and it just wasn't cutting it. So there was a couple scares, and I don't know if you heard the story of the whole truck getting robbed.
Oh yeah. That's one thing I was going to ask you already about on Paul's show. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So that hit Paul's like, how could you have left that out? That's a crazy story.
Dude, what? So give everybody the background story that they heard the first part, and then what's the follow-up story a couple seasons later?
Correct. For sure. Thanks. So that hit, that year that I got robbed, but that was probably maybe 2015, 2014. I don't know. I try not to remember exactly when that was.
Trying to let it go.
But the point is, we would get stuff robbed like very frequently. Like, oh, they took a blower. Oh, they took a weed whacker. Oh, they took this. So it was always something.
Yeah.
So the very vulnerable with the lawn equipment. You gotta make sure you lock, and you gotta make sure your crew locks. Not only you, because if your crew's out there not locking, and it's the same thing. So one year, I had like a 3-man crew, and they're all in the backyard, and which is unwritten rule. At least one guy in the front, no matter what it is, even if he's filling up gas or whatever.
Sure.
Keep a guy in the front. And this was a hot neighborhood, so it, even more so, although it can happen anywhere.
Yeah.
Even the nice neighborhoods, it even has just as much. They go there where all the nice equipment is.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, but that particular day, we weren't in the nicest area, and the next thing you know, the truck is gone. And then the crew's like, hey, who moved the truck? Who moved the truck?
Oh, no.
And they're like, no, I didn't move the truck. No one moved the truck. And they left the crew with what tools they had in their hands.
Wow.
The truck gone. They called me. Luckily, I was like more or less in the area. It was kind of far from where we stay. And I was able to pick them up, because imagine, they're just stranded now. Like, like what? Like, how do you Uber with a weed whacker? Like, what? I didn't even think there was Uber back then, but whatever.
Oh, no.
So we go around looking for the truck. I almost like crash in the process looking for it. And then, the point is, we never find it till later on that night. Someone's like, hey, your truck's in my parking lot. Can you move it? And I'm like, what the heck? I'm looking for my truck.
Really?
So we get there. It's empty. All the stuff is gone.
Oh no!
So that was probably like a 10. Yeah, man, that was hard hit. Maybe 10, 12 grand loss. That was a tough one. But
was the truck still drivable, or?
Yeah. They just drove it to wherever they needed to drive, take what they could, and just kind of left it.
Now, did you have a trailer attached to it and mowers? I thought, or no?
Correct. They took a Wright Standard 36, brand new.
Oh no!
And then maybe 4 or 5 weed whackers and a couple of blowers, etc.
Oh gosh!
All that good stuff.
No.
I didn't have a equipment defender.
Well, even then, man, they would have just cut that stuff off if they hauled it home, But
yep.
I know it's a sore topic, but it's a teaching moment too. Did you have any insurance on all that mess, or how did that all go?
Nope. Play it on the credit. That's one thing that I wanted to talk about here. Good credit. If you don't have good credit, it's going to be tough to do things. Especially down here in Miami. I know a lot of us preach the Dave Ramsey technique and stuff like that, but in our area, man, it could get real tough to pull that off.
Sure.
Maybe in Middle America, but the homes here and now how it's looking now, it's pretty crazy.
Wow.
So your credit has to be really well, and that's what's got me out a lot. That damaged my credit because I had already financed stuff.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I put my money where my mouth is. Let's go. Let's finance some tools. I'll get to work. I've always been like that. Like, I'm not worried about how I'm going to get it. I just know that I have the machine now and I can do the work faster.
Yeah, you're willing to work. You're hungry for it. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Hungry. That's right. So I was like, no one's going to stop me. No thieves are going to stop me. And then just put it all on a credit card. And that took me a while to pay off because I was already having issue with my numbers.
Wow. That's tough. That's tough.
Really set me back big time. So then I started, doing more design jobs and this and that. And I started seeing the numbers. I'm like, man, I need to try. And you need you could obviously get big machinery. You start leveling them up in the design world. But you could do a nice small design with just some picks and shovels.
Sure.
And no one's gonna steal your picks and shovels.
Yeah, dude. I'll be honest with you, bro. Like, so funny story. We go on a cruise. I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. Liz and I did out of Fort Lauderdale, and
oh yeah,
so beautiful area, fun times. And then so the next time we go, we're like, hey, we might buy some stuff, in the islands. And so anyway, everybody says, hey, fly in and out of Miami for the ports and all this other mess. And I'm like, Okay, what do I know? So I guess customs a little bit more chill out of Miami. You didn't hear that from your boy, but I'm just saying that's actually what we found to be true, right? So anyway, because it's tax and duty free, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, so next time we fly out of Miami, because we were buying some things, and so, dude, funny story. We were there, I think, a day early with some friends, and bro, we went to get some like tacos and just like Mexican food, and like little like I don't know, 2 blocks away from the hotel, and we're walking around, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know if this is like the nicest, safest area, but it's like, bro, the food was so good, it made it worth it. And then it's like this little corner street taco place, hole in the wall place. I don't even remember the name, but it was amazing, like Mexican food, bro. Like it was so good. And then we leave, and I'm like, you just like kind of look around and you realize, like, bro, we're kind of like the Miami hood, I think. And so when you were telling this story, I think on Paul's show maybe a year ago or whatever, I was like, yeah, bro, I've seen like the fun parts of Miami. I've seen the sketch parts of Miami. I haven't probably seen all of it, obviously, but I was like, man, I'm like, I wonder if Paul Capote is working around here. So I was looking out for a right stander 36. You know what I'm saying? And I was trying to get a finder's fee.
Miami has its pockets,
Yeah.
It could, the bridge, the second, it's one of those areas where the second you cross the bridge,
mm-hmm.
you see it get real quick. So
but it's all good,
It's a beautiful place, but just you got to be careful with definitely certain areas, just like anywhere,
Absolutely.
But yeah, very expensive. So people are crazy out here, man. People are crazy. So we got good people, but obviously you got to keep yourself locked.
Well, it's wild. We stayed at the I think on the way back after our cruise, Liz and I stayed at the Fontainebleau Hotel for one night.
Oh yeah, nice.
Beautiful hotel, like way
big deal, bro. Big deal.
Yeah, it was like way above our pay grade. We stayed for one night because Liz is like, this is where Frank Sinatra had his apartment and all this other, or lived, and. Now it's like Live nightclub, and it's wild, bro.
Live, yeah,
dude, wow. Like, they're like, yeah, the guy who sang Blurred Lines, whatever that song. He's like coming in tonight to perform, and last week was Bieber. 2 weeks ago was Lil Wayne, and I'm like, bro, what are we doing? And dude, the people are wild, bro. Like, I'm from the Midwest, bro.
Stop.
Like,
it doesn't stop.
Is that right?
No,
like,
and that's a good point. That I have it here on my notes. You kind of said it. Stay hungry. You gotta move fast. This is a city that they'll eat you alive if you're not moving fast, man.
Wow.
People are gonna pass you. They're just, I guess it's more populated. It's just the culture.
Yeah.
Right now I'm dealing with some clients that are super fast paced. It's stressing me out big time. They're good for it, and they're good for it, and they're respectful.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to move fast.
Wow.
Fast. If not, next. Who else are we calling?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that is a challenge. Finding clients. And I still make time for my, other clients. Because this one particular guy has been, swamping me with work. But it's not one of those things where you tell people here in Miami you're booked for 2 months, and they're like, "What?
That won't work."
Calling someone else.
Yeah,
that doesn't work here.
Wow.
Some people might wait. And I've had people wait. Oh, it's okay, no rush, cool. But I would say 50% are like, "Nah, I need this done."
Wow, that's crazy. And you could get that vibe when you're down there, man, because like people work quick, man. Everybody's hustling, from the bag guys to the restaurant folks to like they're quick, man. It's like quick money. I don't know.
Yeah. You gotta stay on your toes here. You gotta stay on your toes.
Yeah, even customs was quick. They didn't care, man. They're just like, let's go, and I'm like, yes, sir. And but anyway, which way? So.
Sure.
Let me ask you this quick question. Going back to when all the equipment was stolen, what kept you going, man? Because that was a time where, like you said, business sounded like it was a little rough. Didn't have tons of extra cash laying around. It sounded like, which is a lot of us. What kept you going? Like, because you could have just been like, you know what, I'm out. I'm gonna go. I don't know what you're gonna do down there. I'm gonna go sell cars. I'm gonna go work in hotels. I don't know. What was the attitude? What was the mindset, man? Because that's a huge L,
Yeah, man. My mind's like, I'm really stubborn, very, very stubborn. You know, in the beginning, I had friends that supported, but for the most part, people were like, you're crazy, So I just kind of always had that stubborn mentality. But I forgot who it was. If it was the J Squared guy, somebody did a podcast with Almond and kind of asked a similar question. It really hit me hard, where I don't really see myself doing anything else. I don't see myself inside or working or just, God forbid, a job. No offense to that.
Yeah.
I just been doing this too long to do otherwise. So I just kind of refuse to take no for an answer kind of guy,
Cool.
And it's been a hard, man. I'm a very uplifting guy and very positive, but I have my moments where I'm like, I break down too. I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah, yeah.
So we just got to look at that long term goal. My wife helps me out with that a lot. She'll, so look what you have. Look at all the stuff. Like, you don't have the same truck you started. You got 5 trucks. You got 5 trailers. You got 8 employees, 6 employees.
Wow.
I'm pretty hard on myself, but that's what gets me past all those things. Because the average person would not be able to put up with that. It's tough. It's tough.
Well,
I've had a lot of those breakdown moments. The Keith Calp is the sick of yourself moments.
Absolutely. Well, and that's my question. I mean, like I always tell Liz, I'm like, there's times when we have wins and times when we have losses, and I'm like, look, it's a L, but compared to where we were maybe a year ago or 5 years ago,
Correct.
we're making progress, and I'm like,
that's the thought that's the thought that always relieves us.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's crazy.
Sure. The bank account can look like Bitcoin, it goes up and then it goes down and then it goes up.
Yeah. All my crypto people out there. I'm actually out of all my crypto for right now. I've made money, not made money, made money, and then.
But no, theoretically, the account will look like it's going up, and then the next day you look at it, and it's like, where's my money?
Up and down, man. If you guys are crypto or just day trading, man, talk to Bedell. Michael Bedell's he's he's the wolf of Wall Street over here, So well, let me ask you this. I got a question for you. Really quick, Paul. So I do a lot of coaching calls with people in Florida, like surprisingly a bunch. It seems like the 2 places I get the most seem to be Jersey and Florida. Yeah, for real. And a lot of the times the question in Florida is, how do I deal with the $20 guy? It seems like everybody and their brother's got a mower, and I don't know if that's like from Miami to the Panhandle or what.
Yep.
But
it's too much. It's too much. Yeah. That's a big problem. And it's funny because when I met with the first time I met you guys in Tampa.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of says the same thing. Hey, landscaping is rough, man. It's a cutthroat market. It is rough in all markets in the nation, but
right.
I'm like, nah, I don't know if it's any harder than it is. Like this. Damn, if it's harder than it is down here, then wow.
Yeah. Well, we get competition, totally right. But we get the $20 guy too. So that's where I'm trying to understand, like, do we all get the $20 guy? And I just hear more of it from Florida because people are blaming immigrants and all my Hispanic friends and our Cuban friends. That's fine. If that's like the facts, there's 10 times more guys with a pickup truck and a mower. Awesome. But dude, I think to myself too, like, bro, we have just as many $20 cut guys here. It's no different. We get the people that put the little, white, yard work sign on the street corner, and most lawns $20, and I'm like, I've seen the same friggin' sign for 10 years, bro. So is do you guys just get more of it, or are just people whining? I don't know. Like, what's your thoughts on it, man? Because your boots on the ground.
For sure. So they're building a lot of cookie cutter homes. Like the super small backyards, 20 by 20 backyards. So
okay,
I have a buddy Christian that you probably hear from him every here and there. Christian's lawn care. Yeah, he has a little niche because those homes in that area are small. So you don't want to be charging that low, but you might be able to get away with it if you're like a one man guy.
Yeah.
Now there's some bigger yards that people are charging $30. I'm like, there's no way. And but now, don't get me wrong, I think they're starting to catch on because it's gotten too far. Like, how is this? I can't match that. You crazy? I've had a couple estimates that I double that's double what we pay now. Well,
wow,
that's what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
It took me a very, very long time to create a route that I can tell them, look, I don't want to, not like, I don't tell them like this, but we're not here to ask you if we can go every 2 weeks. That's another game that a lot of people like to play. We'll let you know when to come. No.
Yeah, the 2 week thing, yeah.
2 weeks. Weekly, it's like, you better be rich for that down here. It's just not part of the culture. People don't respect the lawn as much as like up north. Now here, you see these people just cement as much as they can because they don't want to cut the grass,
Okay.
Up north, maybe you got a guy and like he'll enjoy his lawn and make sure it's clean. And here, I guess it's like back to the fast pace. People, oh man, I haven't even gone outside. I don't even know what the lawn looks like. The guy sent me the bill. I guess he came because it looks short.
Yeah. So, that's interesting.
So I think they are starting to catch on. Even the people that don't have legit businesses and the low ballers.
Yeah.
Even them are starting to say, hey, we need to charge at least $50.
Sure.
Because what is going on?
Sure. Wow. That's interesting.
$5 in gas today, but even when it was good, even when America was good,
yeah,
like, bring America great again.
Yeah,
it was still tough. Like even with good gas prices, it was like, man, this isn't really adding up.
Wow.
So it did take me many years to get a route where it's like, okay, I could charge $70 for not a big house, just a standard house.
Wow.
But before, $70, it's like, mowing an acre for $70 and trimming the bushes and the palms. You have to draw the line.
Yeah.
You have to draw the line. A lot of people get away with it because they just mow the lawn.
Okay.
So they'll charge $30, but then you see them and they'll put the palm fronds that fall on the floor, they'll put them in your trash can.
Wow.
So you can't compare that,
Yeah. So it's just one of those things where you got to know your worth, know what you're offering, know your prices,
Correct.
don't settle. And then sometimes educate the customer, man, like, it's okay like I have customers all the time or even I had a commercial account push back the other day. They're like, we just had a bill for this and now we have another bill for this much. And I'm like, yeah. And they go, well, this is a lot. We might have to shop elsewhere if this is what it's going to be. And I said, well, I was under the impression that you wanted your business open for business hours and you wanted to minimize slip and falls and you wanted accessibility. But this is what happens when you talk to the accounting folks versus the operations folks. And so he paid both bills and he's like, all right, just continue service. And I'm like, because I don't know what they were paying before. I don't know what they're going to pay if they go with somebody else next time. But hey, bottom line is that every day their business was able to open. We're talking snow plowing here, which is just wild. I'm plowing snow. You're trimming palm trees, bro. So it's just funny. It's wild. Like I've been to Florida once or twice now already over winter, and this I think second or third time back down there, man. And I love it. So let me ask you this. Talking about getting into more landscaping and patios, what's some good tips or advice that you got for somebody that's looking to get out of just maybe they're sick and tired of getting the $20, $30 cuts and they want to get into pruning shrubs or all the different landscaping down there? What's some good tips that you got for them that worked for you?
100%. Yeah. So I charge above standard, but I always make it clear to my clients, anything under 12 feet, we trim and, we the bushes, it's all like a set price. So I get them with that. Like, yes, it's going to be more than your $30, $40 guy. We're going to charge you 50 or 60, but remember, we're controlling the weeds. Things grow really fast here, so you can't really like go too long without trimming things. So it should be a bundle package.
Okay.
So that's where a lot of these people are getting away with charging cheap, but they don't trim and they don't really detail.
Okay.
So always, like you said, you have to be communicative with your client. If your client doesn't care, then that's probably not what you're looking for, So, but pride in what you do has a lot to do with it, because I would charge super cheap. One, because, I thought I would be able to do it fast. So that was one, inexperience. But two, they might think that that's too much. That's a lot of money for that. And then I'm just head trashing myself. Right. Where I should be like, no, this is hard work. They better respect the price and stick with it,
No,
that was one thing that I know a lot of rookies like myself were falling for.
Oh yeah. Well, now, do you guys charge, like you said, like a weekly or biweekly maintenance fee, like $100 a week, and we mow, and we do the bushes, and or is it like,
Correct.
or is it like $40 a week we cut, and then we'll do the, I don't know, the pruning for $200 extra, $500 extra? How do you guys do your pricing down there?
So, no, you got to be strategic with the upselling, because there's a bush here called the Calusia. And if you see that bush in the property, you better make that clear that you're not going to trim that all the time, because it's something that you do every 4 to 6 months. And
Okay.
it's a whole process within itself, trimming that particular bush.
Okay.
So you got to keep your eyes open, because then I thought you guys were going to trim that. And it's like, oh man, now you're looking at a full day job.
Right.
So be very careful with the Calusia for my guys in Florida.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, like, just try to have a package deal. That's what I do. I just put full maintenance of everything under 12 feet, cause then you got the people want you to like trim like a super tall palm. There's a lot of palms here that you've seen. So you got to make that clear. Like, okay, that's not included. That's way up. That's a tree division now.
Okay. No, that's cool. I'm learning. Yeah.
So the palms, I would charge per palm. So if you guys are trying to figure out, like, man, these guys have all these palms back here, find a price per palm. That has helped me with the design, because before I would just kind of come up with a number, maybe double my material cost or whatnot, and then just go from there. But now everything is itemized. I used to not like showing my clients like how much I was doing per item. I don't know. I would just tell myself, no, they're going to know, or they're going to question.
Sure.
They can question all they want. So now I have formulas. So as far as design, if I'll measure linear feet and then I'll divide by 2, and I know I need X amount of planks.
Okay.
So that has helped me big time, because people are scared on taking design jobs because they're like, oh, how much do I charge, or where do I start, or
Yeah.
So yeah, come up with a formula.
Okay. No, that's really good. Let me ask you this. One other question I got. Like, what's some of the biggest challenges that you guys have that you've realized in the last 13 years, right, working in Florida? What's the toughest part of the Florida market? What's the biggest challenges you guys have down there? Is it the weather? Is it the heat? Is it finding good people? Is it knowing your numbers a little bit?
Yeah.
What's the hardest part about the Florida market?
For sure. No, glad you brought up the heat, because right now jobs go smooth.
Yeah.
Jobs go great, because we barely have been getting any rain. It's actually been a little dry, but like you said, summer, June, July, August, that is brutal work, and the heat is like hitting you in the back of the head, and then it'll rain.
Yeah.
So now it's hot and it's wet.
And humid. Yeah.
So definitely, as much as the crew is willing to get wet, there's only a certain amount of rain where you're like, okay, you can't work in this, you can work in a drizzle, cool, you keep it going, you put some ponchos, you keep it going. But if it's like downpour, you can't work in downpour weather.
Right.
And then it'll be half an hour of that in the morning. And then maybe again, it'll creep up again in the afternoon. So then rain will steal like an hour of your day, and you don't have nothing you can do about it, because you were already on route. It was a beautiful day in the morning, and and then it rained on you guys, and so that has been tough. So I have been transitioning more to maintenance. As far as maintenance, obviously you have to be well equipped for this, but my team's not that big either. But I've been looking for HOAs. Okay. So apartment buildings mainly, not like too tight homes, because that gets tricky. Too many cars in between. So I'm doing like 2 apartment complexes that I try to take care of as much as I can, because my crew only has to go there.
Right.
So if you could find jobs that it's a one-stop shop, you just go there. And even if you send less guys or more guys, or figure out a way that you don't have to go anywhere else but that one property, try to take care of those clients like gold. Because let's say it rains on them that day, let's say you didn't get to all the bushes, or you didn't get to trim all the palms, but you were able to cut the grass, and you were able to more or less tighten up, and you could charge for the visit. But now on a rainy day, if you have a 7 or 8 or 10 house, some people do 10, 15. I know you've done like freaking 20 houses.
Oh yeah, all day. It's 20, 30 for us all day. Yeah.
So imagine you start getting rain midway, it's not the same. So right. it gets really tricky. You got to charge right. especially if you have employees out there, like if you're mowing with your guy, maybe you made that money back to the first couple houses, but you got 2-3 employees out there and they're just watching it rain. It can hurt.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Wow. That's interesting. I've spoke to some buddies and they tell me, just don't even work that day, man. Because some of us are like stubborn. Just go out there and make it happen. Do what you can, but you're just losing money. Right. Yeah. The it's kind of like, I don't know if it's the same as in Florida. I think you guys have us beat with like the sporadic weather and the rain. But still up here, I mean, if we get rain, usually it's a good strong thunderstorm, and sometimes you get a passing rain shower. But I think you guys get more like the passing rain showers than compared to us.
Correct. They call it scattered storms. Scattered
storms. Yeah, because up here when we get a rain, it's usually rain out for the day. And but for us, I mean, dude, if we can get 3 hours in, me and my guys are going out because we have. That's the thing. Like we always talk about route density, and if you can. Correct. If you got good route density or you got one job site, like you were saying, Paul, you can have your guys there for 2, 3, 4 hours. You can still make money that day.
Yes.
But it's tough
driving around is what takes all that money. And here in Miami, the more you come to the city, there's like 4 schools in like the 10-mile radius.
Wow.
God forbid you were driving around there at 2:00.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, and I always hear Paul talking about Atlanta traffic and even
Atlanta traffic. Yeah.
That's why he picked one massive subdivision to do all of his work. Like he shows up at the gate at 8 a.m. and he's in there for 7, 8, 9 hours. He's out by 4 or 5. Yeah,
correct. Even if it is small houses, find that little area. That you don't have to be driving around your crew. That has costed us a lot in car accidents. All that adds up.
Wow. Yeah. No, that's good. Well, what else you got real quick? You said you had 1 or 2 things you wanted to make sure that you covered on the podcast. I'm just kind of spitballing here, but we'll probably kind of wrap it up here. But what's any other things you want to leave these guys really quick while we got you, man?
Awesome, man. Thank you. No, I appreciate the time, honestly, and I want to thank everybody that has pulled through with me as well. But no, I just want to maybe touch up on leverage. Don't for people trying to do things all themselves. I put a lot of accountability on people. I hold a lot of people accountable, and it's hard to do. But at the end of the day, that's the part of being a leader, and that's how you grow. And you find who's good at what.
Right.
That's the biggest deal. We have to be as business owners, like almost like a psychologist, to find. Who can be good at what, and everyone's happy in their position. But it is our job to leverage. We can't do it all. We're just going to be, burn ourselves out or whatnot. So depending on how you want to grow too,
I love it.
But yeah, and just having pride in the trade, I'm pushing that a lot. Everyone's talking about shortage of labor, and it has a lot to do with how we were raised. I meant to tell you one of the last podcasts that you did was with Andy.
Mike.
With what? Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot his name.
Augusta. You talking about
Augusta, man, yeah. That guy is a beast, bro. He's a beast, and said he was going to be a doctor and everything. That's what they were told us. Everyone said, be a doctor, go to school, go to school.
Right.
So now look at us. Everyone's like trying to find good workers and good laborers and who can do my roof. And all the roofers are booked out.
Right.
No, they didn't tell you could be good with your hands and make just as much or more. So I've been pushing that a lot. I think this next generation is finally realizing that, how you're going to raise your kids is going to be totally different how we were raised. So I think we should, hopefully as soon to be parent myself or whatnot, we could get our kids' generation to toughen up and be good with their hands again, like we used to. And nowadays, it's been tough to find people that are good with their hands. I'm sure.
I totally agree, man. I follow Mike Rowe. I love Mike Rowe. He's always talking about that, and it's true. And I don't know. Like I think a lot of us as entrepreneurs, we kind of live, ironically enough, in a small echo chamber where we all think like the tide's turning, but man, I don't know. I think it's still. 90-10, like we're screaming, hey, you can work with your hands and go get a trades job and make $100,000, $150,000 and have no debt, arguably.
Correct.
But man, I don't know. Where I live, it's still, I mean, literally 15-year-old kids, 14-year-old kids, parents telling them, yeah, when he goes to school at Michigan State. And I'm just like, why? Like, why? But I just, I don't know, man. I'm not saying everybody needs to be a landscaper, but I'll tell you what, like, working outdoors or working in the trades and owning the company, I think it's a hard road to hoe for the first 5-10 years. But if you do it right, I think you can do it pretty well. Hey, Paul, a question for you. This might sound kind of awkward, but what's your background? Are you Hispanic? Are you Cuban? Or what's your background, bro?
Yeah. So I'm Venezuelan. I was born here, but I was raised Venezuelan. I used to go every year before communism took over.
Yeah.
But
wow.
I used to go a lot. I love Venezuela, but it's really, really dangerous right now. So I haven't gone in over 15 years. But wow. I when I talk Spanish, I have the Venezuelan accent.
Okay.
Although I have been speaking like other languages here, like other slangs, because Miami is everything. There's everything out here. So people will be like, "Oh, where are you from? Nicaragua?" And I'm like, "No, man, I'm from Venezuela." "Oh, where are you from?" Well, Honduras. But I'll say one word that caught on, and Miami is very diverse. But yeah, I am Venezuelan, but I was born here.
What's a
Venezuelan American?
What's your biggest tip for minorities? Because I get a lot of Hispanic guys listening to the show, a lot of coaching calls with Hispanic guys down in Florida. What's your biggest suggestion or tip that you think has helped you have a successful business?
Don't listen to what your parents are telling you.
Okay, well, that sounds dangerous. What? Elaborate.
My mom would when she first saw me buy the weed whacker, she's like, "What the heck are you?" I used to get into a lot of trouble, so she was like, "Now like this, now what?" Like, "So what are you doing? Like, what are you gonna mow lawns now?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So weren't. My dad would tell my uncles and aunts, "No, Paul's in the university. Yeah, he's in his college." And I'm like, with my business. But now they support me to the fullest. Or, "Paul, look at Paul, he's killing it. So proud of you, son."
Wow.
Great. But if I would have listened and said, "Man, my mom doesn't really like what I'm doing. She says it's not a great idea to go to school," that can set you back, because their mindset is not the same as ours. They don't see the vision always. But in general, as a, quote unquote minority, I don't like really saying it like that, because they did ask me, like, there was a school funding. They're like, "Oh, you could apply because you're a minority and you're Hispanic." And it's like, what does that make a difference?
Yeah.
We dominate down here. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Wow.
People down here barely even speak English. But yeah, stay strong with your worth, man. Stay strong with your worth, and you'll make it by.
Do you think for your mom, do you think it was more of a and this is a common question that I know it's talked a lot with even just lower income, it doesn't have to be an ethnicity thing, but do you think your mom was more on the status thing or the income thing that she wanted you to go to school?
Well, my mom is a status person, and my dad too. But my mom also knew me, and my mom was a little more realistic about me going to school. She was like, "You're not the most studious," and then, but I was so brainwashed. I was like, "No, I'm gonna go, Mom, watch." And then I'm like, "Oh yeah, okay, no, never mind." And then, but yes, it is that stigma. Like, "Oh, you're gonna be a landscaper?" My parents never down talked me. My dad's a business owner, so he's like, "Cool, you want to make money? Go figure it out."
Right. Wow.
But there is that stigma, like, "Oh, come on, kid, that's what you're gonna be doing." I have one of my sales, my guy right now that handles my sales, Christian Pacheco. He a good friend of mine, and he told me, "I don't know nothing about landscaping, but I want to help you in the business with big things, but I know I have to learn from scratch."
Right.
And it was tough. It was tough teaching him, and he was going through it with the weed whacker and all that, and eventually, he would always tell me, what else can we grow? And now he does most of my sales. He visits clients for me, and he does estimates, and he's handling all that stuff, and he has a great position now. But a lot of people gave him a hard time. "Oh, Chris, he's older than me. Chris, what are you doing, man? You're going to be working landscaping? You crazy?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, you guys don't understand what I'm doing here." And now he's typing up stuff. He ain't picking up a weed whacker. He's foreman on my job sites, and he's got to put in work here and there. But for the most part, he's got his little notebook and he's doing estimates for me.
Wow. Yeah. Making good money, doing the deal. Amen. Wow.
Yes. So that stigma, man, don't worry about that stigma. Brush it off and be proud of a proud tradesman.
That's awesome. And one thing I'll hear, or one thing I'll say too, and this is a plus one, but this is something from I think we had somebody on the show not too long ago, and they said don't let your parents stay stuck in your ways. Maybe I even heard that from Paul. Paul might have had a guest on, and they said like if your dad's Hispanic and he's got this lawn care company and he's doing the deal for 20, 25 years, and a lot of like younger kids, 20, 25-year-olds are taking over for the family business. But don't also be so stuck in like, this is how my dad's always done it. Like, get a CRM, get a bookkeeper, hire an accountant, do things maybe more legit sometimes. Not every time.
I have seen some kids take over their family business and they run with it.
Yeah.
But it's up to the father and the mother and whatnot to like trust the kid, because I've seen that they could be the biggest burden because they don't want to approve a certain decision. But for the most part, the kids that really took it serious, I know some 22, 23-year-olds running their family company, and they doubled the money,
Sure.
Tripled it.
Sure.
So it takes like that ultimatum, like, okay, are we going to let our kid run this thing or what?
Yeah, that's funny right there. Yeah, I always wonder, because I always think about like long term, like where are we doing with this thing? What are we doing with all of our eggs, all of our basket, right? Like all of our money. I'm like, am I giving this to my kid? I don't know, man. I'm giving some thought process for number one, but we'll see who's going to get the family bag later on, right? If there's any left, because I'm definitely buying a Formula boat and a couple Lambos. But anyway,
let's go.
Dude, talk about car culture for a second in Miami, man. You guys have it crazy down there with the cars, bro. From Rolls Royces to Lambos, Ferraris. I've seen a little bit of everything down there when we were visiting, and everybody and their brothers renting something, or you can rent it, and
it is very deceiving too when you could rent them that easily.
Yeah,
like, man, all these people going.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, a lot of people just rent them for a couple of days and just hang out.
Well, we were at Live nightclub, right, and or Club Live, and man, they had, you could rent eight or nine different things up front, Lambos, Rolls, a little bit of everything. And I told Liz, I said, hey dude, like when in Rome, like let's go they had this red and black Lambo Urus, and I'm like, come on. She's like, if you rent that, I'll make fun of you forever. And I was like, why? She's like, you're such a poser. I'm like, I was like, I want to get one in one day, she goes, don't be a dork. She goes, we're not dropping. I think it was like $1,800 or something for, a day. And I'm like, come on, like, let's do it just one time. And she's like, no, like, wait till we get home. She goes, I'll buy you like one of those, like, day racetrack visits, for a couple $100. And she goes, you're going to just like be looking like an idiot up and down Miami. I'm like, hey man, I don't know. When in Rome, I'm trying to look cool like everybody else. I don't know.
Hey, you said when in Rome, baby, when in Rome.
That's it. I'm trying to be part of the team, home team. But well, dude, hey, no, I got to say this really quick, Paul. I love your energy. I love your just your vision for the community and everybody that you're always talking to people, always encouraging people, man. Like for real. And it's always a fun conversation. Like honestly, it's not like I'm going to get on a podcast with Paul and then feel worse after I'm done. There's times when you talk to some people, maybe not on a podcast, but you're like, man, like it just like life gets sucked out of you. And I've never had that with you from the first time I met you 2 years ago at the Hype House that we did. I was like, man, this guy seems really cool. Paul was talking you up. I just wasn't physically able to do any more podcasting.
No, you guys did like 100 podcasts in a row. I wouldn't want to talk either.
Yeah, I was wiped out. I'm just trying to not die. And but it was a really good week. But I felt bad that I didn't get you down there. I felt bad that I didn't get you a couple months ago when we were.
We made it happen. We made it happen.
We got you.
We made it happen.
We got you on the show, man.
We're here. No, it was a pleasure. This was fun. I love it. I love podcasting. It's pretty fun.
Well, tell Christian, by the way, down there. I forget Christian's last name, but I know Christian's Lawn Care, right?
Correct.
He came to the house with you as well. It was really cool meeting him. And then shout out to everybody else in Florida, man. From Orlando to Tampa to Miami, for Fort Lauderdale. There's so many people that listen from Florida, and I just I always talk about Florida, man. I love what you guys got going on. But
Thank you.
Paul, we'll button it up right here, man. Where can people find you? And then we'll sign off, man.
Awesome, my friend. So pretty much mostly on Instagram at Miami Landscaper. I'm building up the YouTube.
Cool.
I think it's the PGL show.
Okay.
But yeah, BGL Show. But yeah, Miami Landscaper on Instagram. That'll be the best place to find me. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah. Well, guys, if you enjoyed the show, do us a solid screenshot, maybe tag on Instagram both Paul and myself, and let us know if you guys are listening and you guys enjoyed the show. And then hashtag it with your current temperature of weather, man, because that's the that's the ultimate litmus up here. Because for real, bro, like it's 30s this whole week. We're gonna get another 2 to 4 inches on Friday of snow, which is wild. And I'm done. I'm just ready to go out there, start mowing grass, laying mulch, doing the deal. And I'm going to be back in Orlando next week, and I'm going to be like, man, like, again, why do I live in Michigan? But anyway, I digress. I don't know,
man.
You're
welcome to Florida, my friend. You're welcome to Florida.
I'm telling you.
Build that division over here. You could counsel all the Florida boys.
Well, you guys would have to teach me some stuff, man, because Florida is wild. It's an entirely different model, totally different business. And that's why I'm always asking people questions in Florida, like, how do you guys do this? And pruning, and is it more landscaping? And I learn from you guys, man. So Florida is totally different, man, and I love it because every conversation is different, you know. So, all right, man. Well,
thank you.
Well, that's what we got today on this episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Hope you guys really enjoyed listening in with our guest Paul today. If you guys enjoyed the show, like I said, maybe tag us on IG, give it a share. We always appreciate that, and don't forget to leave those ratings and reviews. We're definitely going into the spring season. We have over 1,000 ratings and reviews. Couldn't be more thankful. But if you guys want to continue helping us out and helping giving the podcast some social proof, we super appreciate that. So, all right, guys, well, over now. Thanks again to Paul for joining us, and let's kick it over to Marty, Mr. Producer, down in the ATL, and we look forward to catching up with you guys here on the next one.
Running a successful lawn care and landscaping business means you are working hard and smart. You're smart about investing in equipment to grow your business, to be more efficient, go the distance, and take more on. Cujo Yardware is working hard to provide you with the absolute best footwear options to help you get the job done. You want efficiency? Trash the grass-stained athletic shoes that fail on slopes and dew. You want to go the distance? Forget those overkill boots that weren't built for the yard. You don't have to choose between lightweight comfort or water-resistant traction because Cujo Yardware was built for you. From the comfortable yard shoes to the tough X1 landscape boots, Cujo selected the best quality materials to optimize the performance and satisfaction of lawn care professionals. While you focus on laying killer stripes, Cujo will be there every step of the way. Check them out at Cujo.com, Kujo.com.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.